So actually, I'm just gonna keep doing what I was doing whenever you guys on the forums ping me about where I was at. So yeah. So basically, what I was working on is there are in the last build we sent out. We added shield dash and shield dodge and some other stuff like that. And let me turn that down. Just fine and dandy, but there were actually quite a few bugs with it. A lot of them actually weren't apparent. So you probably noticed that if you were moving and you shield dashed and you kept moving, that the animation previously would sort of lock up and the character wouldn't animate again until you change directions. And so obviously, as you can see in the stream, I fixed that. So now you can dash and keep rolling. Life is good. And the other part of what I was just doing was adding basically taking all the properties that we use for those things and just plug in that mic.
Yeah, go ahead and switch to that one. There's a lot of buzz coming from your computer.
Okay, how do I do that?
Control panel.
Should someone talk to me? Control panel.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. It's just like this high pitch.
Where do I go from?
Sound.
Okay, recording.
And then you.
So this is the one. This is the computer's mic, I assume.
So just disable that one. It should be good.
Disable. So I think you'll be able to hear me again now. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think that's just my computer. I think it's the fans or whatever. Don't know. Oh, it seems to be a problem. So, anyways, back to where we were at. So the other thing I was doing was splitting out the basically all the properties that we have. I don't get any. It's strange. I'm not getting any game audio. My end. Yeah. Oh well. Game audio, Baker?
No game audio.
I must have checked that up. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I got game audio. I don't know if you guys got game audio, but I got game audio.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So exposing those properties, and yeah, the character speeds have been tweaked again. Recently. I think Baker was messing with them for a little while. Anyway, so basically, one thing that we did was just split out. So previously, we just had a strafe speed, which we split out. Now that we have two separate actions, we have the defense speed, which is when you have the shield pulled up and you're moving about, locked to a direction, sort of in defensive mode. And then the other property we have now is stock speed, which is when you have your weapon at the ready and you still can change direction. So those properties are all split out now. And yeah, I mean, the big reason that we need to add all this data in here is because we want to have different stuff on a per class basis. So now we can do that data and mess around and test it. And so then over here we have backdash magnitude, and then shield dash magnitude and shield dash duration. So these two combine to manage what shield dash does. So after I split this data out, we were actually having a bug, pretty bad bug with shield dash, where it was constantly repeating. You would hit it once and it would just repeat over and over and over and over again, and then it would be a miracle for it to stop. Very strange. And so I found that bug and fixed that, but that actually exposed a bug that was in the last build that didn't really manifest because of this bug. So this is a case where you fix a bug and sometimes you fix a bug and you create another bug, but this is actually fix a bug, expose a previous bug. So as you can see right here, backdash is now pretty gimped, and there are a few different reasons for that. In the build that we sent out, you could there was quite a bit of Z to the backdash, and that was a sort of a quick hack by me just to avoid the constraints of the physics system. And so ideally, it would be more like the shield dash. Where you slide along the ground, you just slide backwards, so to speak. But shield dash actually does a lot of things sort of behind the scenes to break the physics on purpose, so it actually works right. But anyways, before I dive into looking at what's wrong with the shield dodge, I'm actually going to just modify this value real quick. So real quick. So current rogue shield dash using magnitude of 937.5 units. So let's just quickly double that, just to show the difference. Oh, that was a formula. That's okay. Whenever I control Z, it will fix itself. So now you'll notice that shield dash is going to be considerably quicker, or not at all. See what I was talking about with the bugs? This might actually be the core bug that I was working with earlier that I thought I had fixed, but perhaps I can't put a comma there. That was pretty dumb. Why is that reading in commas? That would be the issue. This is a comma delimited file after we export it out, so obviously cannot use commas in the fields. Okay. With the magical power of Google Docs, we can work on this all at the same time, so Maker is going to fix the formatting. But yeah, the reason that shield dash was not twice as fast is because it was just 1 point, or actually just being written as 1. So it was approximately 900 times slower, or in other words, not doing anything. Magic color-coded values. Yeah, I just looked at the format, but it didn't. Okay, well, now we will download, give it another go. So hopefully this time it will be twice as fast in terms of 900 times slower. So we'll see. Alright, so with any luck this will be twice as fast. And that looks probably twice as fast. Pretty quick. We were actually doing some tests earlier, like how fast we can make it before you effectively just start going through walls. And you can make it pretty fast, but yeah, it's sort of unplayable at this speed. Yay! At least you can't control it nearly as well. Okay, so I will revert that back for now. Just wanted to show you that that's data driven now. Okay. So the Sassnins has still got a comment in it, by the way. But it doesn't really matter. Alright. So anyways, get back to the bug. Not totally imbalanced. Well, yeah, not totally, but still pretty bad. I think my wife is saying something. Oh yeah, no, I forgot I have the whole thing on. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. I just told her that to leave me alone. I'm doing live stream stuff. So yeah, so back to this silly backdash bug. So, you know, for shield dash, we effectively do a few things. We disable physics, disable any other actions, you know, so you can't change direction or start attacking or anything else. That's rather silly. And I effectively think the backdash is going to have to be the same way. And it actually should be right now, but it's not. So we'll look at a couple things. One thing is giving us some Z back. I think previously I had this hard coded to like 300. So this will probably look similar to how it is in the build that you all either have or have seen played perhaps. That's pretty similar to how it was in your build. And then of course you can do stupid things like, you know, jump on top of this guy's head or, you know, jump over the chains if you have the requisite skill, and then, or jump over everything, floating around up there in space and kill your comrade. But anyways, don't do that. This also exposes some of the other normal physics bugs with stuff where things are really bouncy, strictly on the Z-axis. When they're coming down, like, you know, I'm not going to be able to reproduce it, but how I first jumped on the chain, there was some top of the gladiator, and well, that's a pretty good example. You know how you just bounce around on things. And that was actually an early attempt at. I didn't want things to get stuck on these fire pits, you know, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense for things to stuck on top of fire, but ultimately that sort of hack solution isn't really work, so you have to fix it properly. Anyways, so you know, this is sort of what I want for the backdash effectively. I just don't want it to. I don't want it to have to rely on the character propelling through the Z-axis. It should be more of like more of a slide back versus a legitimate jump. We were talking about special items that would let the player jump the other day, so yeah, and then that's, you know, even making things bouncy so they typically don't come to rest on top of things doesn't help a lot when you're in a corner, right? You know, because you're still pretty limited. You know, basically it's bouncing to the wall back into the fire pit, back into the other wall. You know, so it sort of gets hung in limbo. But anyways, so I'm gonna go look through some code and do some experimentation. So this is probably gonna be brutally boring, but yeah. So anyways, so I don't want to do that. here you can actually see some of the logic that handles backdash and shield dash. Here I actually have labeled back jump. That's a misnomer. So yeah, going to, that is actually, maybe not that important. Yeah, we're doing a lot of the same things here. Although actually shield dash doesn't do that, so I will do that, I guess. So curious why, here basically it's like, this is sort of the logical update loop for when you're in some sort of defend mode, be it you're active with the shield dash, or you're retracting the shield, or up here you're doing the back jump, or up here, you're pulling the shield out to start with. So really, like, one would think that if we did the same thing as shield dash, this would actually work the same, but here obviously disabling friction for shield dash, disabling friction for back jump as well, but getting pretty different results. And maybe that's not totally accurate because these are different numbers. So easy way to test would be to look at, actually, I think I do know what the problem is. This is stupid. Now that I don't want you to be on the Z, the on the ground is not a very good test to see if we're going to be finished back jumping. So that's probably actually a lot of the problem. So we shall get rid of that. And in doing that, I actually want to reset this time, which I'm confident about testing something at some point in time. So this actually might get us what we want. We will see. So Doom's figure out doesn't disable friction clash with slippery tiles. Well, yes and no. The no is if friction is disabled, you're effectively on like the most slippery tile that you could be on in a lot of ways. So in terms of like coming to a stop or whatever, this doesn't affect that at all because this is only during the action. So the real question becomes, can you effectively, so the real difference between, like, say, shield dash and normal movement would be, right now, accelerating into shield dash doesn't take into account friction whatsoever. So basically it would be like on ice versus on cobblestone versus dirt, can I go into shield dash the exact same way? And as it is coded right now, the answer is yes, that's the way it is. It's not, basically like, oh, I'm on ice, so I can't actually get into shield dash as quickly. Whereas regular movement, if you're on like cobblestone versus ice, then it's actually harder to move on the ice. It's harder to get up to speed. And the other thing that friction has a lot to do with is turning. We have a property called grip that actually contributes to that as well. So on icy stuff, you're actually able to preserve effectively less momentum going into a curve. Well, you actually preserve more momentum going into the curve, but not the direction that you're actually wanting to go into. You can't change direction during shield dash or during back jump, so that part's irrelevant. So the real question comes down to, do we let players go into shield dash exactly the same regardless of the floor surface? And I don't actually know the answer to that question. I sort of intuitively am leaning yes. But I don't know if that's true. And that might be something that we come back to, and don't want that to be the case where, if you're on ice and you want to start shield dashing, it's not as quick to get into it. So shield dash effectively would be a reduced value or a reduced effect in that scenario. At the end of it, on ice, coming out of shield dash, you're going to slide a long ways probably because you have a lot of momentum. So there's already that kind of built-in disadvantage to shield dash or back dash on ice. So I don't know if we would want to make it sort of doubly penalized in terms of the startup as well. I don't know though. That's a pretty good question, sort of designing. So this, I think this is basically what I want. You know, we're not moving the disease, so I shouldn't be able to jump on any of this stuff. Yeah, so it looks like I'm not going to be able to jump into or over or onto. Try a few different scenarios. So I'm just not going to do. But this basically does give me like the sort of distancing that I wanted. The overall effect. So I think it's probably too early to say that shield dash and shield dodge are now bug free, because there's probably surely something that I missed or forgot. But at least for now, it looks a little bit better. No new comments. I'm just going to play for a few minutes, just to see if I encounter any shedding. Oh, Jesus. So I think Baker also increased the speed of projectiles. Those are some pretty serious missiles, damn. Wow.
They were too easy before.
Yeah, definitely scary now. I mean, I don't mind it. It was a pretty big surprise. Sort of have to be on your toes now. Feel that back. Oh god. I mean, I actually kind of like it in a way because ghosts are pretty much the easiest / most boring enemy right now. So it definitely makes them a lot more scary. But I don't know if that's what you want. Oh god, not paying attention. Trying to read the Twitch chat play at the same time. Not necessarily easy. Yeah, so actually let's I'm gonna restart because I want to play yeah, the fast firing speed definitely makes you use the shield. Dashing wind, yeah, there'll be some sort of effect coming off the character whenever you use shield dash. Since I'm not layout east, I'm not gonna be able to tell you specifically what it's gonna look like, but for sure there'll be something. So looking at stats, you know, the rogue has backdash of 450 and the sorcerer has 600, so the sorcerer should be, you know, effectively get a third more distance, a third more distance on the backdash than the rogue, but has way less shield dash. So I believe the idea was to make the sorcerer's dash mechanics more defensively minded. So we have this effectively, you know, you can coming up on something, get quite a ways back. Yeah, probably enough to be able to get off the full projectile. And then for the dash, oh, wrong button. Yeah, it's a little bit less of a dash than it is so much as like moving forward with your shield up, I suppose. And maybe that's good, maybe that's not good. I don't know. We're gonna play with him just for a little bit. I really don't like this one. Well, I really don't like this character, but I especially don't like this one. That big fireball should one hit slime. Anyway. I think that would have been pretty effective if I hadn't got hit from the backside, but I think we're going to have one more chance. Let's get out of the way. Attack again. Pretty. So yeah, so already just with, you know, messing with the stats just a little bit, splitting them out, making them more class. I already have pretty different feel between the rogue and the sorcerer, so that's good. More things to differentiate classes is good. Crossbow traps aren't firing. that would be news to me. Do you at all in any room, or has it just been a single room or a few rooms? I know that some of them have different, and this is not a particularly good design thing. It's something that we're aware of and play the remedy. But right now there's a few different ways crossbow traps are triggered, and effectively like no visual conveyance of that. So some of them are crossing certain areas of the floor, effectively contact triggers. Some of them are controlled by buttons. Some have long around arrows. That's interesting too. I wonder if that, I bet I broke that when I was messing with the rotate to heading. I haven't seen a crossbow trap quite a while, so I really, oh god. Haven't, should probably test this. The heading of the arrows, I'm pretty sure I know what that issue will be. Not firing at all, totally unsure what that issue would be. Yeah, they are pretty rare right now. That's not going to be the case though pretty soon. I don't want to talk a whole lot about a lot of the randomization stuff that's coming up, but the structure of the way that we do the rooms is going to change pretty significantly, which basically means that all of the rooms that you guys have played up till now are probably going to bite the dust. Spiritually, there may be some that are very similar, but some of the big changes that we need to do to the randomization stuff is going to require almost 100% entirely new rooms from here on out, which is part of the reason that it's going to take us quite a while to get all that stuff in a fresh new build. So it's way more likely that a few things get added build by build time. So, okay, well, I declare the backdash bug fixed, at least fixed enough. So, move on to something else. So one of the I hate mentioning this because then if I fail, then it's bad deal. But since it's only 10 people on the stream, it doesn't really matter. But the big thing that we want to have done for the next build is getting inventory back in. It's not going to be the complete weapon system yet, but getting the inventory back in, getting some bombs back in, hopefully getting just basic weapon switching back in, or that at least the first time. It's sort of the big prime directive over the next several days. But that is a huge amount of pain slash work, which is not really conducive to live stream. So I'm trying to think of something else that would be interesting to show. And this live stream, since I was late slash forgot slash very ad hoc, might not go a whole lot longer, but I would at least like to show something else really interesting. And well, one second. Hey Baker, do you mind if I try to get the globally in the game? Yeah, it is. Okay, so then I do have a treat for you guys. So we will attempt to add a new enemy to the game with a caveat. Since we have all the defending mechanics in, this enemy was actually animated right before that. And so some of the skeletal structural things are probably going to have to change, so it's not going to be able to use all the defense stuff right out of the gate. But I can at least get the basics of it ready to go to get it in game. So we will attempt to add the gobble. I said gobble in the baker, but it's actually the gobble or gobble, whatever you want to call it, into the game. So First off, let's open up our friend's spine. Big Shot needs to do more damage. Take it up with Baker. He's in charge. Oh, good. The right one. Okay. Oops. So we've got 0. Okay, cool. So here we have, let me go to animation mode so it's actually easier to see what's going on. One second, how do we, so it looks like there's a lot of skeletons showing up, which is crazy. And the 0, that probably doesn't help explain how he is. Much better. Animations, attack, what's the right? Actually, it doesn't look like it. I have multiple things selected probably. Maybe not. Global B. Let's open up Global A. Aha! Magic. Okay. So here we have the global, slightly more evolved version of the Goblin. Probably looks fairly familiar. Reading the comments for a second. I think this is an experimental version. Ooh, yeah, I don't think this is for in-game, but it's still pretty cool though. I can move that to, yeah, it's definitely that one, so I guess it gotta be B. So I'm not sure why some of the, well, that looks pretty good. It's sort of staticky, but animation. So, yeah, so this is a more human form of the goblin, and he has a shield, which he runs around, and the shield's on his back. So you can't damage him from the back when he's in that state. I'm not sure what the excess shields are. I'm not totally sure on the level of this guy being finished is yet. I know it's not finished, but I think it's far enough along that I can go ahead and start getting it in game. Okay, so yeah. I think this guy has already been exported out. I'm not totally sure. Let's go ahead and check and see. spine deficient in a lot of ways, so just make sure they're all three of them really good. Cool, great. And the other thing is we need to make sure that their assets have been added to texture packer. So we'll open that real quick. Take a little bit for texture pack to open up because there's so many images. There we go. Yeah. So dabbling parts is added, which means actually, I'm going to have to do a little magic because this guy was not set up 100% correct. I don't think it would be too bad though. But basically, to make sure that the path names that come out of texture packer match all the path names are set up in the spine file, we have to make sure that the directory structure for the assets is very, well, basically exactly the same. So that's not a big deal though. Fortunately, I've done this a few times, so. What we're going to do is go to where it lives. Effectively, you'll see here we have Goblin Dust Spine and Goblin Parts. We just want to do the same structure inside the global. So we have Global Dust Spine. We just need to make a folder for Global Parts. And that's going to break the spine file, but that's actually relatively easy to fix. Select all of these. Cuts. Paste. Super slow copy. Oh, it's because on Dropbox. Yeah. So go parts. So I think that's how good you go now. So if we go back to the spine, reopen that file, it's going to be totally broken. So yeah, can't find any images. But fortunately, we can just go out here, and this is pretty easy to fix. So it's not a big deal. So we actually won't muck with this. What we will do instead is open these up into my Notepad++. And this is actually won't take them than I was expecting, but not the end of the world. Replace that with well, we'll try it. Nothing else for later. Name this place off. After that. Reasonable enough, I think. Alright, so we'll see if that comes up to be the same protection factor. If not, I might have to do that again real quick. Normally I don't have to do a lot of this stuff. Actually, I should probably move that over here so you can see where it's doing, but oh well. You guys can just, yeah, so, yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, so what we want to do now is add in the parts detection factor. Just looking at it, I think just put it just like this. Global parts. Yeah, I think that is correct. So we'll save, then publish. It's interesting that I cannot find stone segments. Curious. I think those are the new stone wall segments actually, and I don't know why they would be missing from me. Actually, I should investigate that really quick. I think. Yes, those these are what those. I don't think we have any rooms that actually use these new wall pieces yet. They're like sub-walls, I guess. Two walls. That would, I guess so. So let's go ahead and try again. Let's just add those in. So I think we should be good to go now. Hopefully. Oh yeah, I can also show you guys some of the new animation states. I didn't even think about that, because we have quite a few of the new attack animations in. The sound, yeah, I think it's just my machine, microphone on my laptop. It picks up a lot of the noise on the machine, I think. Sorry. I know it's annoying. Okay, so I want to check one more thing, and then we'll go back to I'll actually show you the attack animations real quick because that's something that I can do pretty quickly. So bulk, 0, bulk 0, yeah, global parts. I don't think that is the same as my file. It is not. Awesome. Let me fix this real quick in these files, and then I will move on. Okay. 28, 32, and 26, at least those were the same numbers, so hopefully it didn't jack any of that up. If I did, oh well. Yeah, actually, we can. I can show those attack animations really quick. I have to do it through code a little bit, but they're pretty cool. And obviously, like, just going to show you through code. They don't have. They do not have the right logical collision or stuff like that, but they're still pretty neat. So let me get back up real quick. So, you know, we basically, right now, we have two different attack animations in the game. So this is the slash, which will be used for a lot of different swords, short sword type weapons. And then we also have, if I choose I believe the sorcerer and the gladiator both use the overhand right now. Different attack animation. But we've got 3 new ones, I think. If I can show you guys this real quick. And I'm just gonna, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change them. I was testing them the other day, so I'm just gonna change them for the sword category of weapon type. So instead of slashing out, we're able to do the 360 spin attack animation. Pretty cool. So this will be a 360 spin attack animation with the sword. Pretty cool. So using the regular collision version of the sword slash, so it's basically just doing damage in front, but pretty nifty little animation. So now we can go look at the next one, which we actually have. Well, couldn't think about that. We have thrust, but I will show you guys that way. So I will just copy this. The sword category with thrust attack animation instead of the slash or the 360 spin like we just showed. And then the final one I'll show is shoot, which will obviously be used for firearms. And probably some other things. The rusty machete is going to be thrusting. Nice little quick jabby stabby. So that one's pretty cool too. And then finally, we will do the shoot animation, which probably makes virtually no sense with the sword, but whatever. Say what? Oh, that's right. Oh, I think it's done at least for the 180 direction.
It'll be hard to tell what's going on.
Yeah. So then we have. I think we only have this one in the down direction right now. But there's the charge state, you know. So it's like get rid of the long machete and imagine a firearm, so you can see that the hand comes out, and then you just fire, making gun noises. Probably not very effectively. So yeah, I think like Baker said, this one's not finished yet, so it's a little rough on the pullback. Probably doesn't help that it has a machete either, because I believe there's supposed to be like a cocking and reloading sort of thing at the end. So yeah, we do have it. The direction's just down. But there's your Musketeer preview. Not so much, right? But anyways, shoot. So we'll just make swords go back to using the slash animation. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It was pretty awesome to see those come online recently, and setting stuff up for that. Be a lot of fun. So I'm going to try and go ahead and get the Goble to load in game. That might be a lost cause. Oh, yeah. Follower, thanks. So yeah, where are we going to start? First thing, I'm going to go to data and add a new entry and set up their skeletons. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to straight up pop the Gobelings stuff and just add it in. Here is the Goble, and then we can get to load here quickly. We might mess around with some of the properties, but beyond that, just let it be as is. So the thing that we really need to change is the path to the skeleton. I think this is just Goble Goblin. Check to be sure. So you see that we actually have three files, three different skeletons, because we have the down direction, which is 180, the up direction, and the 270, which is left. So this is a 4-directional character, up, down, left, right. But since it's symmetrical, we don't need unique skeletons for the left and the right. We can just simply mirror the entire skeleton. And I guess technically this guy isn't completely symmetrical, because when he pulls the shield out, it's going to be up one over the other, but yeah, not that big of a deal. And I think theoretically this the same direction set, so yeah, 3 direction set, and that's what anybody who gets interested in mind, that's basically what these mean. So the directions, so 0 is basically straight top down, doesn't have directions, it just uses actual rotation. So like the rats, for example, just rotate around the center of their body. One directional would be stuff like the bats are one directional. They are always face down. 3 directional stuff like the Gobling. 4 direction would be the same as the Gobling, but having unique left to right. 5 direction is for an 8 directional enemy or character, where you have symmetry, so you can do mirroring. Effectively, you can mirror the upright, the right, and the downright directions to achieve all 8. And then 8 directional, which is all the characters are that way, are 8 unique skeletons per direction. So anyways, so theoretically this thing will load in game. So let's go ahead and export this data. There are one more step that I need to do. Not that big of a deal though. So do that, yay. And then what we want to do is test this. We're actually going to go to our settings file. Maybe if I can find it. Yeah, let's see it. And we're going to need to edit the settings to take us to a temporary state, a test run basically. So I actually need to pull this up and see which one we want to jack with. Test room is what we're going to use. I think that was already in here somewhere. Yeah, it is right there. So comment out splash date, so you guys are no longer able to view it from music since it starts in splash date. It's a hack secret if you're curious. So we're going to do a small test room. The other thing that we need to do is right now we could create a global in the room even if we wanted to. Because it's not been added to the tile mapping system. So, if we go over here, there's no global. But what I'm going to do just to start testing this is I'm going to add just one of these guys. And, well, let me actually have it farther away from me. And I'm going to change the mapping just to map to the other enemy ID for the short term, because that's basically the quickest way for me to test this. So generally what I do is whenever I want to add something new, I just quickly add it in as fast as I can to start testing it, and then go back and fill out all the data correctly later. So what we want to do right now is go into the databases, and there's a bunch of tile databases, and these all correlate how these tile sheets down here are objects. We have a bunch of them. We can break this out into a bigger window. What all these, so that's an actual, oh damn it, that's an actual, oh god, ducking in this, man, not nice. So we have some traps, enemies, objects, that's an actual tile set, some bigger stuff. So I'm going to open up the enemy 60 database, and I think that's just enemies, that name. And, oh, I forgot, we actually changed these to be CSVs as well, so I don't have to go through that, much fortunate for me. We can just go up here and do it. So tile, let me go down here and find the sheet. Objects, blah, blah, blah. Alright, so here we have the global enemy ID, and so for now all I'm going to do is I'm going to switch that to the global ID, and theoretically that will generate our global generate our global and that little test room. So, oh, it did. There we go. I switched over finally. So now I'm just going to download this. So yeah, so theoretically, we should be in the test room. Theoretically, there should be a global. Obviously, the animation states aren't totally correct or complete, so it might look pretty wonky, but there should be. And so they're running way over there. Facing up, running to the right. Yeah, I don't know what the shield on the side is. I think if you didn't have the shield on the side, it would actually look probably as well there as in the front as well. But yeah, so that's successful importation of a brand new enemy asset from spine to texture packer to the data is sort of hacked at the moment. So yeah, so not too shabby. Just need to get the animations fixed on it, and it'll be pretty cool. And so yeah, the rogue starts with the wand in the test room. I think that's just holdover from something. I have no idea what the holdover from, but cool. Alright, so that actually went better than I expected. Usually whenever we add lots of new assets or whatever, it is sometimes there's some issues. Texture packer doesn't like what spine doesn't like what whatever. But that one actually went pretty well. What I want to do though is I want to fix this data. I don't want to leave this like that because that will make globals for all gobblings, and that's not good. So I need to do a couple things. First thing I need to do is go here to the tile sets and pick the enemy tile set. And what I want to do is add an icon. I'm going to add an icon for the global, and then I'm going to add that to the mapping file. So to add an icon, I think I'm actually going to go into spine and take a screenshot and then just shrink it down. So this is sort of cumbersome, but you know, it's the price you pay for what you see is what you get, effectively. And actually, I think I screwed up on these paths. I probably won't even be able to do that. Although I can just load up the other one, the test one, the funny one. Take the screen cap from him. Although I have parts for him too. Yeah, that's not gonna look good. Silly me. Well, until one of the artists fixes the spine file, I actually can't take an icon of it, so I will just duplicate this guy. And make a note that it's a global. So I don't want to mess with the tiling of this because this is like on hard tiles. I'm actually going to paste this to a different image. Just shrink it down. That'll work. Got our offset there, so just a little bit, nothing that matters. And then I'm just going to add some text in here. So someone, probably me, doesn't forget that this is not actually a global, but it's rather a global. Actually, I should probably change the color of the text. I don't like that. I'll make it red. There we go. So that will clue in one of the artists that they need to actually fix this icon at some point in time. But in the meantime, it allows us to not have to worry about messing up any of the files or being confused with creating a room or anything. So there, have that to that. Close him. Then we just need to go back in here to this file and add this. I don't know why I was getting that off in the first place. So here we want to do global. Yes.
Someone was asking about integration with Steam Workshop for stuff like the modding and all that we're doing through Spaces right now.
I would like to. I honestly don't know.
I'm not sure if they can hear me or not.
Oh, someone was asking about Steam Workshop. I would definitely like to integrate with it. I don't actually know how much work is involved, should be told, whether it's a whole lot or not much. But it's definitely, definitely something we would like to do. So, from the very beginning, from even like before the Kickstarter days, we wanted to make sure that this was, everything that we were doing is super moddable. And we ended up using a couple tools that are not free, but fortunately they're relatively cheap. And hopefully we'll be able to provide decent free alternatives. But yeah, generally we want everything to be moddable. So supporting Steam Workshop just kind of makes that easier for people to do such, or at least distribute the content. So ideally, yes. How about that? That's what we shall say. Alright, so now I should be able to actually reload this file. Actually, I might have to close it down a little bit. Oh, there it is. Nice. So this should actually be a global now, or a globally. So I'm going to go ahead and add a global as well over here. So theoretically, I should get both of them now, and the data is correct, not hacked together anymore. So let's see. Let's see if I am correct. Looks like it. Cool. Yeah. All right. So there. So obviously, there's a lot of work left to do to finish that enemy out, including giving them custom properties and custom AI and fixing the animations and all that. But the core of getting their assets into the game is there, and now they're set up so they can be added to rooms, and you know, life is pretty happy, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the states back to what they were before, since I don't test that anymore. So I'm gonna play the game just for a few minutes, take questions, and then I'm gonna call it a live streaming day. This is like the Bat Cave or something. A lot of bats. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. I just opened it up for questions at the beginning, but if you don't have any, no worries. Ouch. Yeah, so rooms like this are sort of the epitome of what we don't want in the coming out of the randomized system. You know, where you get this huge room, which is fine, but with traps sort of like randomly dispersed with no real rhyme or reason, and this huge marble block in the middle of the room, and then like 30 bats. You know, that's, I mean, in a way, it's kind of, oh god, yeah, these guys have super fast projectiles now. In a way, it's cool in its own right, but it's, oh god, but it is, yeah, not exactly what we want to come out of the system. So, work to be done. Work to be done. More ghosts with their super deadly projectiles. Fifth floor. What fifth floor?
I wonder if they were counting jails.
I don't think so, because they would have brought it up sooner, I would imagine. Probably a bug. I mean, I was testing some Zone 1, Zone 2, well, general zone to zone transition stuff, but I thought I took all that out of the build. Maybe I did not. What we need to do is basically, what we need to do is, every time I get ready to make a distribution build, is actually like play it for like 3 hours, because you know, in my build there's lots of different stuff going on. I have lots of debug settings turned on, and I'm testing, trying to test stuff quickly by inserting code hacks, you know, here and there. And then I mean, after I make a distribution build, I usually play it for like 5 minutes just to make sure that it's not totally broken. But it sounds like a lot of stuff that should be not happening in this build does. So maybe we actually need to start testing them a lot more thoroughly, which kind of sucks because it just takes a lot of time. It already takes like a few hours just to put together a new build anyways, for the different platforms and getting all the installers and all that stuff set up. But more varied conditions for opening the drop already. Well, there's going to be a totally new system. I'm not going to talk about it because it's super secret sauce, but the way the drop functions is basically going to be totally different. Maybe Baker wants to spoil some more than that, but I won't say anything else. about new drop mechanics. I was basically saying the way the drop works is going to be totally different here pretty soon, but I didn't want to spoil anything, so.
Well, there's still some there, but yeah, probably on that.
Butt jumping spiders on top of my head, of course. In general, a lot of the room randomization stuff is going to be a lot more general room variety. Right now, like 95% of all the rooms are just combat rooms that lock you in, with the only parameter being kill everything. So that is a big thing that we want to change up. Those rooms are fine by their own account, but effectively the game is only those rooms right now, which is not what we originally wanted nor currently want. So. Say what? Oh, what else needs to be done? Oh, a lot. I'm dying while I'm talking. I mean, feature-wise, there's still a ton of features that still need to go in. Not the least being getting the inventory system working again, getting special abilities and the experience system working. There's some narrative elements that have been wholly neglected. And then on the content side, there's a ton of content as well. The only thing that we've released, in terms of like quality, it's in a pretty good state, but that's the reason we've only released one entire zone. Even that, there's a couple things still missing from it. But yeah, so still several zones worth of content that has to be done. Oh, that's nice. Very good. Yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of work left, unfortunately. The good thing is the base is coming along. And at least to me, it feels like we've been making pretty good progress in terms of having the base game be fun by itself. Because basically, if you can't just randomly generate sort of crappy levels with a small variety of enemies and the basic mechanics, if that's not fun, then it doesn't really matter how much other stuff you add to the game. Like if you don't have the very fundamental basic blocks being fun and solid, then you can add additional mechanics forever. You're still not going to make a lot of improvements. So I think that we're at a pretty comfortable spot, especially after adding some of the shield mechanics now, where we can basically run tests to know that this is going to be the way it's going to ship, and then you can start doing a lot of the more interesting stuff that we want to do. So, anyways, yeah, in general, there's a ton left to be done. I would show you my to-do list, but it makes me weep with fear every time I look at it, so I dare not give you guys the same dread. So it looks like Baker and Hickory, Wolchuk Bar are talking about no more questions. If there's no more questions, then I will call it a wrap. Okie dokie. Well, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully it wasn't horribly boring, or you saw some cool stuff. So, just as an FYI, we're doing art live streams every Wednesday. Baker and or some random artist will show off the newest, coolest art or some animation stuff. This last time was actually sort of we did a video just on spine animation, partly for our own device, but partly because Esoteric is getting ready to announce some really cool upgraded features for the next version of Spine. But so yeah, every Wednesday you can check out art. Every other Friday I'll be doing one of these programming streams. So if you like the sexy sound of my voice, please feel free to come back. But anyways, that's it for now. Thank you guys.
Hey, there was one quick question.
One more quick question.
Someone, let's see, where did it go? Something about Linux support.
We use SFML or STL. No, actually the engine is all custom, which is why we don't have Linux support. We have, the engine is pretty much fully featured for Mac, PC, iOS. Across the board, you can do the same things. And I tinkered with the very basics of the Android stuff that we'll need a long time ago just to make sure it was doable. And Linux is basically, we actually I don't want to say hired, but we just found the guy who's going to be doing the Linux port for us and worked out the details for him. Yeah, and he's a pretty prolific porter, I guess, in a lot of ways. He did the Linux and OS X ports for mini games like Rogue Legacy and Capsize and some stuff like that. So the Linux port is going to be in good hands. I believe he is actually going to use SDL 2.0 and replace the low-level parts of our game engine to be able to do that. And depending on how that goes, maybe we use that as the permanent base moving forward.